everyone, Camilla here from Decodable Readers Australia. Today we're going to have a look at our extended code chapter series. Now this box set, which is our set 1, contains 14 small chapter books. So let's dive in and have a look. I'm going to open our box set and you'll be able to see that we actually have 14 books. Now these books are a little bit taller than our regular size decodable readers, and that's to represent a chapter book. Also, when you look inside, you can see that it looks just like a traditional chapter book with the sketches as the images. But let's dive in and have a look at all of the components that our chapter books have. Firstly, we have our notes for the educator. This is for all educators, both teachers, parents, teacher aides, and anyone working with a child, to have a look at the steps in supporting a reader. Next, we have our word warm-ups. Now, we know that each book is phonic focus. So depending on what the focus is, what the focus sound would be, here are words with different graphemes representing that phoneme. You'll notice right throughout the text, all the words with those different graphemes will be color-coded. This supports the reader learning to read those graphemes. Next are our high frequency words. I highly recommend that a reader reads through these high frequency words just to make sure there's accuracy before reading. We want to set those students up for success, and we can give corrective feedback at word level in order to transfer that to the reading. Next is the explicit teaching. If there are any graphemes that may not be known at this stage, we explicitly teach them and just give them the heads up that when you come across words like these, it may sound like this or it has this sort of spelling rule. All of these are individual depending on which book you're using. So make sure you go through the explicit teaching section. At the bottom of the book, you have vocabulary. We have a couple of tier 2 words in each book that just really help students understand some of the vocabulary that is embedded in the stories. Now, it's important for the educator to go through these tier 2 words to aid with understanding and comprehension. Just like a regular chapter book, our extended code chapter books also have a contents page with the chapters listed there. Then our text and our beautiful stories happen. Now you'll notice that these chapter books are a simpler version of your regular chapter books. We have a lower word complexity. We also have a lower word count. So they are for your vulnerable learners of year 3 and 6, where those students want to be seen reading a chapter book rather than a little decodable book, but they have the ability to be able to read something a little bit more simple. Now, they can also be for your high flyers of year 1 and 2, those students that just need extension in their code. So these books really are a double whammy. They're great for your high flyers in the lower levels, or if you have vulnerable students in your middle to upper year levels, these are great books as well. So let's just skip to the back and see what else we have in the book. So after these beautiful stories, we have our comprehension questions. We start with literal understanding, those literal questions, just to make sure there's an understanding of what is read. Then we move on with 3 questions that are inferential, just building that ability to infer from the text. Then we showcase all the other books in our series. Now, the other thing to note is our screener. Be sure to download our screener and information pack. The second page has the scope and the phonic focus for each book. You can see book 1, Alien Chase, has our A sound, spelt with AI, AY, A split E, and A by itself. Then book 2 is the E focus, book 3 is the I focus, and so on. If we move past that, then we've got our information about the screener. This is just a little screener to decide which book is going to be best to start with the children. So if we have a look, the students just read these words. Now we've broken it up into 2 screeners just for stamina. If a student is losing stamina on the first list, stop there. If students can continue on, then they read the second screener as well, all in one sitting. Then you have your marking sheets. So here we have our screener 1, and all we do as an educator is tick if they got it right, or if they got it incorrect, we can just write it above the word just to see what they've said and see what errors they're making. Then it's as simple as adding up all the words vertically. If they got all those words vertically in the long A sound graphemes correct, then that will mean they got 4 out of 4, and therefore they may not need too much assistance reading book 1. As soon as a student has made an error in any of the columns, that indicates that they may require assistance reading that book, and it's a great book to focus on. Do books 1 to 8 first, and then move on to the books that have the more complex sounds. All right, then in our info pack is just a little bit more about our extended code chapters and a sample of what you can see on each page. If you want to have a look inside a text, just click our samples. Our samples will show you a sample book and all of it inside. So let's just shrink that down so that we can see it better. This one is Fright on Flight 99. There is the sample of the notes for educators, our word warm-ups, our high frequency words, explicit teaching and vocabulary, our cover page, our contents page, and then you can read through these stories just to make sure that they're the right pick for your students and that they're going to enjoy the content and the information presented in each text. So there you have it. In set 1, we have 14 chapter books based on extended code, and you can download the screener and sample and have a look at all of these beautiful stories that are available in our shop.